Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started. Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then, you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, as well as Q&A polls to take conversations with your fans to the next level. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. I'm personally getting a lot out of Spotify for Podcasters, and I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Oh, man. I feel like I'm doing everything right, but I don't know, just not getting there. Maybe it's something wrong with me. Maybe I should talk to somebody.
Yes.
Wait, what?
There is no harm in seeking out a higher truth.
Where did you come from?
Don't listen to this clown
God,
over
there's
here.
more of them.
You're doing everything just fine. Take it easy. Take a break.
What?
Take a load off. Don't worry so much.
I should do that?
Do not listen to this one, for his aim is to distract and deceive. Just close your eyes and feel your hands and know the deep inner truth that transcends all there is.
Wait a minute. Now I'm confused. What do I do?
I'll tell you one thing you don't do. Don't listen to this clown over here. Just relax. Sit back, open up another beer. Everything's fine. It'll take care of itself.
Not true.
Is so.
Shut your mouth.
You first, Guru.
Oh man, it is not even worth it.
Oh, man. I guess I do need to see somebody.
I always feel like somebody's watching me. Yeah, somebody is watching me. It's hard to do those cartoon devil and angel on the shoulders things without a visual. But hey, hopefully it did the trick. So that gave you a little window, I'm assuming, into what we're going to talk about today, which is we're going to kind of find out something that you can try to subtract or get better at in your life, something that's at the crux maybe of why you're not succeeding or why you're not achieving what you want to achieve. And, we talk a lot about what you could do, what you can optimize, what you can kind of add to your life, what little tricks and tools and hacks you can apply to make things better. But we haven't really talked about things that you can subtract. That's why I'm calling this the Law of Subtraction, which doesn't exist, but hey, it does now. So what do I mean by that? Well, that's a good question, and I'll answer it. I just mean that there are times in our lives when we're doing things right, when we're doing, good work, we're creating great art, we are, getting out there on social media, we're trying to get into galleries, we're showing our work, and, you maybe just feel like a little malaise, like, I'm not getting to that next level. I'm not really getting to that point where I feel like I should be getting based on the effort I'm putting out. And you might be like, what is it that's keeping me back? And a lot of times it's like our good friend Tony Robbins says, it's one little tweak that you need to do that will open up everything. It's just like one little millimeter that's off. Sometimes it's a big thing that's off, but sometimes it's just one small thing in your life that's kind of at the crux of it. And if you get that out of the way, almost like a Archimedes lever, if you get that out of the way, everything else kind of falls into place a bit. I'll give you an example from my past. And this one was a big one. It wasn't a small one. But in my mind, it wasn't like that big of a deal. That was drinking. I had to get very honest with myself at one point and be like, look, I'm showing my work. I'm creating my work consistently. I'm getting my stuff out there. I'm showing in galleries. I'm selling here and there. But I'm really just not getting to that place that I wanted to get to. So I had to be honest with myself. And it was difficult because drinking was one of the things that I loved the most in my life at that point. But I started to realize, some of the energy is lacking here, maybe because I'm a little bit hungover, or, maybe there's a little social anxiety because I feel like crap the next day, or maybe I just don't have that energy to go pound the pavement and go to the galleries and show my resume to people. This was back before we had social media and all that. But what's at the crux of all of this stuff? Maybe there's a little depression involved with that too. Maybe I'm not feeling up to it. Maybe I'm having a little bit of self-doubt, and maybe that's also tied to the come down from drinking a little bit. So I had to get honest with myself and figure out what that was in my own life and kind of eradicate it. So, it wasn't easy, but once I started to take the drinking out, it was almost like a superpower. It was like, oh, look, I have all this time. Now I have all this energy. Some of the social anxiety is gone. I'm not quite as depressed. I'm feeling better about myself. There's no more like shame spiral that you're in. So taking that one thing out of my life was really like the focal point, and it was the thing that was really holding me back. It was like the obstacle is the way, and taking drinking out of my life really made a huge difference. Now, for me now, that's shifted. That's been great for, a decade, but now I'm having this chronic pain issue, and I know that that's at the crux of everything because it just takes away, it robs you of all these other things too. Your creative output, your physicality, your emotions, it robs you of that. It makes you depressed. So that's something that I'm working on now, but I know that. But drinking was one that was like a little bit more nefarious because I really loved doing it and I didn't want to give it up at all. And a lot of people are like this, sometimes what's at the crux of your issue and you don't want to eradicate it, or you don't want to take the steps to get better. So you have to get honest with yourself and be like, look, is this worth what I'm giving up? For example, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and a doctor was talking about dealing with a woman who said, you know what, I would rather get Alzheimer's than give up my sugar addiction. And I was like, oh my God, but that just shows you how powerful some of these things are. It could be something as simple as like, you're too over caffeinated. It's giving you anxiety. Maybe you have anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder. Maybe you have depression. Maybe it's just that you are not good at talking with people. Maybe it's a drinking issue. Maybe it's, you're distracted by your day job and you don't have the energy when you get home to create work and to pound the pavement or to get your work out there online. Maybe you have surrounded yourself with negative people. Maybe your support group is not very supportive and it's making you feel, it's like bringing you down when you hang out with these people, or not showing you that they believe in you, and it's reflecting on how you believe or don't believe in yourself. There's so many things that it could be. And really at the center of this is getting quiet enough and getting objective enough to figure out what one of these things is in your life. It can be as simple as, maybe you've let yourself go over the years and, you've gained some weight and your energy levels are low and your productivity is suffering and your mindset is suffering. These are all things that happen to people all the time. And they seem like a small thing. Maybe they even creep up on you over the years. And you're like, well, I was able to do this in the past. I've never had a problem with this in the past. And all of a sudden it becomes a problem. As we age, we have to take some of these steps to figure out these things that are like holding us back, and even change our approach and add some things in. I know I said this is a subtraction, but like it is a subtracting of, a bad habit or of something that is an obstacle that's in your way, that's hindering your achievement of something, whether that's, success in your art career or productivity. You want to subtract that, but sometimes you have to subtract these things by adding good habits, right? We just need to get honest with ourselves. I had to get honest with myself about the drinking. Sometimes I had to get honest with myself about fear. Like fear was something that was holding me back a lot of times. And yeah, that was tied in with drinking. Some of it was tied in with some past stuff. But a lot of times, you can talk yourself out of doing something that's really important in your career, or that could be really important in your career or with your art, because of fear. And these are all things that you can do. You can talk to somebody, you can see a therapist. You can take classes that help you with public speaking, that get you to be better at that skill. You can cultivate all of these skills. If you're drinking, there's plenty of support groups you can talk to, or people that you can talk to find out a way to get that out of your life and to add something else in its place that's positive and that's positively reinforcing your new momentum in your life. There's so many ways to do this, but it starts out with us figuring out what these things are. Maybe it's just something as simple as, you lack a good morning routine that is starting your day off on the wrong foot, and then everything just kind of goes downhill from there. Sometimes these little tweaks, are just all that you need. Maybe you need to stop surrounding yourself with like a horrible political bubble that you're in, or like a 24-hour news cycle that you don't realize is bringing you down. I mean, it's good to be informed, but it's also, there's a tipping point where you can watch too much and it can start to get in and seep into your mindset and cloud your judgment and also make you feel like crap. There's a lot of people out there right now that just feel like crap. We have a lot of mental illness right now, and it really takes us being vigilant and seeing these things in our lives that we need to eradicate so that we can get back onto a good path and, have our minds functioning at our highest level and our creativity as well. So, maybe this is something that you just need to pull your 3 or 4 people that you care about most in your life, and people who are not going to pull any punches, and people who are going to tell you honestly what's going on. Now, this takes you being strong. Like, you have to be able to take the criticism. But if you really are feeling like you're being held back and you can't pinpoint what's going on, ask these people, like, what do you think my weakness is in my creativity or in my attempt to get ahead in my art career? What would you say is my biggest weakness? And you might be surprised at what you hear. And if there's some overlap with a lot of these people, or let's say every single person says the same thing, well, maybe it's time to get honest with yourself about that. A lot of times we know. Like when I was drinking too much, I knew. I just didn't want to give it up because I liked it too much, Like I know with my pain and my chronic pain that it's in the way right now of me being able to do everything that I want to do at my optimal level. I know that. So now it's up to me to eradicate that, and that's what I've been doing every single day of my life. So this is just something that I wanted to put out there for you, because a lot of times you're doing the right stuff, but things aren't just falling into place, or you're not really achieving your goals at the level that you want to be achieving. And sometimes it's just one little tweak, or it's one little thing that you're not aware of that's holding you back. Hopefully this is something that will make you think and make you ponder and, sit down and take a moment to really do a bit of soul searching of what's going on in your life. What is one of these things that might be holding you back? And if you took this thing out of your life, or, replaced it with something positive, what are the changes that you would see? And what's the momentum that you could kind of create in your own life? And once you do that, I think you'll find some excitement there. Like, oh yeah, the pleasure really outweighs the pain of me giving this up. If I give this up, I'll get so much pleasure from this. Whereas if I keep doing this, I'm going to stay in this rut. I'm going to stay in this negative mindset, and I'm going to be stagnant. So I think you'll see the value in this when you really put it out there to your friends, or you put it down on paper, or you really just think about it and start weighing the pros and cons in your own mind. This is just something that I wanted to put out there today as I'm sitting here on a Friday late morning, getting focused for the next week. Hopefully it'll be something that'll be helpful for you. I've got some great interviews coming up, one coming up next week that I know you're going to want to listen to. Somebody from the other end of the spectrum in the art world that can give us a different perspective on this business we call art. So stick around for that. And as always, you can reach out to me on social media. We will see you next time on the next episode.
Come on, you don't need to do any of that garbage. Just keep doing what you're doing. Stay in that rut. Just enjoy it. You don't need to get anywhere. You can just, revel in this quagmire that you're stuck in. Wait a minute. This actually doesn't sound too good after all. Forget about it. Don't matter to me what you do.
This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.